People often come up to me and ask, Brendon, what do leaders actually do? Maybe you're leading a small team. Maybe you're responsible for a large organization. Or maybe you're simply trying to take charge of your own life. But that question always comes up. What is it that real leaders actually do every single day? It's a fair question, and one I've been deeply passionate about for a long time. Many of you might already know that leadership was the focus of my graduate studies. Back in 2001, I wrote a book called The Student Leadership Guide. I honestly had no idea it would take off the way it did. The framework that came from that book, something I call the E6 Leadership Framework, has since been used by over 40 of the top 100 universities in the world. It's been taught in major corporations, global associations, and educational institutions across continents. I've been invited to speak to so many organizations about it because it provides a clear, practical answer to one powerful question. What are the key practices of leadership that we must live and repeat if we truly want to make an impact? This framework breaks leadership down into 6 essential practices, 6 E's. These are not just abstract ideas, they are actions that leaders live and breathe every day. They are not steps you finish and move on from. They are habits, disciplines, and ways of thinking that you must continually embody if you want to influence people and move your mission forward. Let's start with the first one, envision. Great leaders don't just have a vision, they envision. They imagine a more compelling, more colorful, and more meaningful future than the one that exists today. They see a tomorrow that is brighter, bolder, and better than the present. They have a picture in their minds of what life could be like, what their team could achieve, what their organization could become. And they make that picture so clear that others can see it too. This is what leadership begins with. A shared purpose, a dream that people can connect to. Leaders create visions that others find inspiring, interesting, and emotionally engaging. It's the kind of vision that makes people say, yes, I want to be part of that. You've probably heard it 1,000 times. You need a vision. And it's true. It's even ancient wisdom. The saying goes, where there is no vision, the people perish. It's timeless because it's true. But here's the key. You can't just have a vision written somewhere in a notebook. You have to practice envisioning regularly. You have to sit down and ask yourself, what should tomorrow look like for my team? What do I want my business or organization to feel like a year from now? What do I want my life to become over the long term? It's not just about tomorrow. It's about thinking far ahead. Leaders dream boldly. They dare to think about what could be possible. They create what I like to call magnificent obsessions, those big, meaningful goals that stretch you and your people beyond what seems ordinary. These are your moonshots, your long-term missions, your big dreams that pull everyone forward. Without that act of envisioning, leadership has no real direction. Without vision, there can be no leadership. And remember, envisioning isn't something you do once and forget. It's an ongoing practice. You revisit it again and again. You refine your dreams, adjust your direction, and recommit to your mission. If you only set a vision once and then move on, you'll lose momentum and clarity. Great leaders are constantly asking, where are we now? Where are we going? What does our future look like? Envisioning is an active, living process. Now, the second E is endless. As you build this vision, you must bring others along. Leadership is never a solo act. It's not just your vision, it's our vision. Great leaders invite others to contribute their ideas, their voices, their perspectives, and their dreams. They don't impose a vision on people. They build it with people. There's a simple truth I've learned in leadership. People support what they help create. If someone has a hand in shaping an idea, they will fight for it, defend it, and give their best to it. So great leaders invite participation. They bring their teams into the creative process. They brainstorm together. They ask questions. They listen deeply. And they reflect on what they hear. They care about what others think, how they feel, what they hope for, and what they need. This is the practice of enlistment, and it's ongoing. A great leader is constantly enrolling others into the dream, keeping them involved, and helping them feel like this vision belongs to them too. When people feel ownership, they commit on a whole new level. They don't just follow orders, they contribute with heart. And let's be real, people can tell when your interest in them is genuine or fake. Authentic leaders have a sincere desire to include others in the process. They don't just want followers, they want teammates and partners in purpose. So they ask, they listen, they reflect, and they celebrate the input they receive. They understand that leadership is not a monologue, it's a dialogue. The third practice is embody. Great leaders live their message. They don't just talk about values, they show them. They walk their talk. They represent the mission in their everyday actions. There's alignment, a real sense of integrity between what they say and what they do. Think about it. You can't believe the message if you don't believe the messenger. That's why integrity is the foundation of leadership. People are always watching, not in a judgmental way, but because they're looking for consistency. They want to know, do you live by what you teach? Do your actions match your words? Do you show up when things get tough? When your team sees you working hard, staying dedicated, and standing strong even in the face of conflict or chaos, they're inspired to do the same. When they see you sacrifice for the mission, stay patient when others are frustrated, and hold your ground when things get difficult. They begin to trust you deeply. They follow you not because they have to, but because they want to. That's what makes a leader legendary, not just charisma or title, but congruence between words and actions. A leader who embodies their message creates belief. The fourth practice is empower. Real leaders empower their people. They don't just inspire them with vision, they equip them with the tools, knowledge, and authority they need to make that vision real. Empowerment means you give people permission to make decisions, to take initiative, to lead in their own right. It's about trust. Trusting people to take ownership and do great work. That also means giving them the resources and support to succeed, training, guidance, skills, technology, and encouragement. You can't expect people to thrive if you haven't equipped them properly. Yet, many leaders stop short here. They talk about big dreams, they motivate their teams, but they forget to provide the structure, training, and resources that turn dreams into progress. You can't just tell your team to go make it happen without showing them how or giving them the tools to do it. Empowerment is about creating confidence and competence in others. It's helping them feel strong, capable, and trusted. It's saying, I believe in you. I've got your back. You have what it takes. When people feel empowered, they rise higher than they ever imagined. They start owning their work. They innovate. They bring new energy. Empowered people don't wait for permission. They move forward with purpose. And let's be honest, empowerment isn't something you do once. It's not a box you check off during onboarding. It's a practice that never ends. You must constantly look for ways to strengthen your team, improve their skills, and remind them that they have what it takes. Many companies fail here, especially in the corporate world, because they stop training after the initial burst of enthusiasm. But leadership requires continual empowerment. You can't expect excellence without investment. That's what separates good leaders from great ones. Great leaders don't just inspire, they build others up. They develop capability and confidence in the people around them. They empower others to lead too, because real leadership is about multiplication, not control. In America, great leaders rise up and define the vision. They gather people around it. They stand for something real, something meaningful. But too often, they only empower people at the beginning. They give some training, share the vision, and then vanish. The truth is, training must be ongoing. Coaching must be continuous. People need to be equipped again and again to deal with new challenges, new tools, new technologies, and new competitive realities. That is essential. We have to make sure that part never disappears. We create a practice of envisioning a better future. We invite others to help shape that vision, to believe in it, and to commit to it. We stand for something by living our own message. We empower others to support the mission and to win with it. And then comes one of the hardest responsibilities of leadership to evaluate the key people who walk this path with us, their contributions, their growth, their needs, and their alignment with our values. We must look deeply at our organization and our team and ask the honest questions. Are we being excellent and are we being ethical? Are we truly progressing or are we just pretending to? If not, why? Are people doing their best work? If not, why? Are we holding ourselves to the highest standard of integrity? If not, why? These are the questions that define real leadership. Evaluation isn't a one-time thing, it's a habit. Every single day as a leader, you have to keep your thumb on the pulse of your team and your mission. You have to ask, how are we doing? Are we alive, growing, and moving forward? That process of evaluation also brings us face to face with another huge challenge, giving honest, direct, and immediate feedback, the courage to tell the truth with kindness and clarity, to give constructive feedback to the people who walk beside us, our collaborators, our peers, our teammates, our partners. Whatever you call them, it's vital that we don't ignore what's going wrong. We can't check out or turn a blind eye. Leadership means staying aware, being present, and consistently checking in to make sure the mission is progressing and everyone is growing with it. Then comes the sixth practice, the one that brings everything to life, to encourage. To be the source of energy, the spark, the cheerleader, the person who keeps hope alive, to keep motivating and inspiring people when the journey gets hard. Too many leaders get excited about something, launch it with energy, and then fade away. That can't be you. You need to encourage continuously. You have to ignite people, lift them up, and bring them back to life when they feel tired or lost. That comes from your heart. That's the spirit of a real leader, the one who lifts others when it's tough. If you can't move people with your passion and your example, what are you doing? Leadership is not about power. It's about passion, purpose, and persistence. You have to keep people inspired when the mission feels impossible, because every great mission eventually feels that way. When you're chasing a big dream, when the vision is long-term, when more people join, the organization grows and the vision expands, so does the struggle. There's more conflict, more challenge, more frustration, more doubt, more delay, and yes, more disappointment. That's the price of big dreams. A true leader deals with all of that by being the light when things get dark. When the team feels lost, when hope seems gone, you become the steady hand, the calm voice, the person they can rely on. You turn negativity into optimism. You show them another way to look at things. You help them take the next step. You encourage them even when you're tired yourself. You remind them why they started. You keep the mission alive in their hearts. That's leadership. To be the one who stays steady when others shake. To be the one who speaks hope when others are silent. To be the one who reminds everyone of what matters when it feels like everything's falling apart. You are not just managing a team, you are carrying a vision and a group of people who believe in it. That's why encouragement matters so much. It keeps the human spirit alive inside the mission. The 6 essential E's of leadership are simple but powerful. Envision, enlist, embody, empower, evaluate, and encourage. These 6 form the rhythm of leadership, the heartbeat of every great movement, and above all of them sits one deeper truth, purpose. Leadership without purpose is empty. You have to feel deeply that what you're doing matters. You have to believe the mission has meaning. You must honor, respect, and care for the people who walk with you. I rarely use the word follower. I may use it sometimes for context, but in truth, people aren't following you. They're partnering with you. They're collaborating with you. They're co-creators in the mission. When you bring people and empower them to collaborate with you in all 6 of these E's, something incredible happens. You stop building followers and you start building leaders. The organization grows from the inside out. Now, you don't just have one leader, you have a network of leaders. You have a team of people who share the same fire, the same vision, the same values. They rise with you. They begin to shape the vision too. They bring in new people. They rally others. They embody the same message. They stand for something and they help others succeed. They evaluate with you, offering honest perspectives on how the organization and mission are performing. They encourage others with energy and heart. When that happens, it no longer rides on your shoulders alone. It becomes a shared movement. Leadership stops being a title. It becomes a culture. It's not just about you anymore. It's about together, we become the creators, the change makers, the builders of the future. We turn visions into realities, missions into movements, and challenges into opportunities. We lift each other higher and we keep growing together. That is what real leadership looks like. It's not about being the loudest voice or the one in control. It's about being the one who empowers others to rise, who listens deeply, who evaluates honestly, who encourages consistently, and who keeps the mission alive through every obstacle. Leadership is about service, strength, and spirit. It's about showing up every single day, even when it's hard, and saying, let's go again. When you practice envisioning a better world, enlisting others to help shape it, embodying your values, empowering your people, evaluating progress with honesty, and encouraging everyone through it all, you don't just lead, you create something that lasts. You create a team, a culture, and a legacy. And when you get that right, when you build not just followers, but collaborators, not just workers, but believers, then leadership becomes something extraordinary. It becomes life-giving. It becomes a movement of hearts and minds all working together for a purpose greater than themselves. That is leadership in its truest, most powerful form. To envision, to enlist, to embody, to empower, to evaluate, and to encourage again and again every single day.